Dear friend, Honourable Rolf Gonçalves, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Chair of Celac, distinguished heads of state and government, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to join you for this summit of the Community of Latin America and Caribbean countries, and to do so, to pay tribute to this continent of hospitality, and congratulations to your country for steering Celac over the past year. And I also want to congratulate Honduras as the incoming president of Celac. Excellencies, just a few years ago, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines were the victims of the devastating volcanic eruption of La Soufrière. This country faced profound disruptions, but the world also saw your resilience and solidarity. We saw neighbours helping neighbours and the region coming together for support. We need that spirit more than ever today and everywhere. As you come together to help foster solutions for the region and for the world, I would like to highlight 4 areas in particular. First, we need solidarity for peace and security. Latin America and the Caribbean have shown how unity for peace is possible and makes a difference. We have just witnessed it today. The peace process in Colombia has made significant strides with invaluable contributions from Celac countries. The joint declaration for dialogue and peace between Guyana and Venezuela, adopted here in Argyle last December, is another example of the region's commitment to seek peaceful solutions, and I commend your efforts. Yet both cases also underscore that implementation requires sustained efforts. And we also know that peace is far more than the absence of armed conflict. Today, violent and organized crime continue to plague many countries. Arms trafficking has become the most important security threat to the region. And it will not be possible to fight it effectively without much stronger international cooperation from the source to the streets. Ecuador is the most recent example of how the security situation can quickly deteriorate and spiral into violence. I welcome the new security partnership launched in January by the Andean community. In Guatemala, the new government offers a chance to advance democratic development, the rule of law, and other key aspects of the peace agenda. Excellences, en Haïti, une situation déjà désastreuse s'aggrave malheureusement de jour en jour. Des gangs tiennent le pays en otage et utilisent les violences sexuelles comme armes. Pendant ce temps, le plan d'aide humanitaire des Nations Unies pour Haïti a besoin d'un soutien financier solide. La semaine dernière, à Rio de Janeiro, plusieurs pays, y compris les membres de la Celac, ont pris des engagements supplémentaires en faveur de la mission multinationale de soutien à la sécurité. Je salue ces efforts, mais beaucoup reste à faire afin de garantir le déploiement de cette mission sans plus attendre et une solution politique qui puisse résoudre les problèmes de fond du pays. Excellencies, second, we need solidarity for sustainable development. The Sustainable Development Goals are slipping away. Millions of people in the region are facing poverty and hunger. I welcome your recent plan for food security and nutrition and the eradication of hunger by 2030. But that requires funding, and many countries are already drowning in debt. The global financial system is failing to provide affordable long-term finance to countries in need and to offer a global financial safety net. Small island developing states have been particularly hit. Middle-income countries are also not getting the help they need. Despite their vulnerabilities, they are not receiving the benefits of critical debt relief and concessional funding. These must change, and that shows the importance of the adoption of the multidimensional Vulnerability Index. Last September, world leaders endorsed our proposed SDG stimulus of $500 billion per year in affordable long-term finance for developing countries. And the stimulus also calls for a debt lifeline to give countries breathing room and the expansion of contingency financing for countries in need. Unfortunately, the resistance has been severe. And so, it's important that the Summit of the Future becomes a vital opportunity to make progress in reforming a global financial architecture that is unfair, outdated, and ineffective. I look forward to your active engagement for change, for a new Bretton Woods moment, and I count on Brazil's leadership as chair of the G20. Third, we need solidarity for social cohesion. Around the world, authoritarianism and extremism are growing. Democracy and civic space are eroding. Disinformation and hate speech are supercharged by new technologies, and growing inequalities are feeding people's fears. Irregular migration has become a political tool to sow division, and it is extremely important to address all the root causes that has transformed this into a major problem for this continent. I'm calling for a renewed social contract based on trust, justice and inclusion, and anchored in human rights in all its dimensions. Leaders have a responsibility to invest in social cohesion, to end violence and discrimination, and to uphold the rights of Afro-descendants and indigenous peoples and ensure that every community feels represented and included, to guarantee women's full participation and leadership, and to amplify young voices. Excelências, en cuarto y último lugar, necesitamos solidaridad para hacer frente a la emergencia climática, que amenaza la existencia misma de los pequeños estados insulares en desarrollo. Los fenómenos extremos golpean con creciente
Phenomena are hidden. Every country must compromise to do something, so we can work in the economy in 2025. And the global temperature in the world is rising. So these plans must follow the transition. So the responsible of 80% of the population have responsibilities at the time of leading these efforts. They must lead a world elimination and make a fair transition. I know that many of your countries started the use of renewable energies, but we need support. We need the development countries to do effective the climate justice, guaranteeing a substantial finance for the damages that is creating, but it's not enough. So the compromise of $100 million, that at least we need to bring it at least to $40,000 million, and it's just a small part of the needs. So it is moment to recapitalize the banks in the region and to change the business model so we can increase the investment to mobilize massively the finance in private investments. So I congratulate Celac for the creation of an organization for climate change nations. So Brazil the fourth international conference that is going to be celebrated in May in Antigua and Barbuda represents another opportunity, a great opportunity. We know that a future with low code emissions, we must be sure that those minerals are just and sustainable. We have created a new panel to guarantee precisely this. And at last, while we prepare for the Conference of Biodiversity to be held in Colombia in December, we need to take a look at the possibilities of the ecosystem of this beautiful region. We must create efficient region systems to face these excellencies. Solidarity and cooperation is the mission of Celac. My dear positions, and I remind in particular that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is in the exercise of the National Assembly. So I summon you to use this for the benefits of peace and the world. You can count on my support, and I wish you to have a very good meeting.